Was it seduction or illusion? Deception or murder? Nothing is what it seems in a town like Twin Peaks. Starring Kyle MacLachlan, Michael Ontkean, Lara Flynn Boyle, Sherilyn Fenn, and Joan Chen. And now you can fall back into the mystery, or begin your search for the first time every Tuesday night with a new episode hosted by a panel of superfans. Watch live for the audio commentary. No one is innocent in a town like Twin Peaks.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Netters Network Thursday Things. Now, our guest is going to be a little late tonight. I put a banner on the bottom to let you all know that. So while we're waiting for him to arrive, Troy's going to be vamping, and it might be for a little while, just because he's in the middle of something that he can't walk away from. Our guest, not Troy.
Well, I mean, I'm on the show, so I can't walk away from that, right?
Well, you can.
I wouldn't. I would never do that to you. Yeah, no, absolutely. So tonight is going to be a bit of a Twin Peaks talk because our guest, Obnoxious and Anonymous, thank you, is chronicling a lot of the. Well, he does a lot of Twin Peaks content, and that's kind of right up our alley, especially with the Tuesday night live from Sparkwood and 21 over on Deleted Scenes channel.
Yep. Well, before we get too far into this stuff, let's say hello to the chat.
Yep. Let's say hello to the
chat. So first up was the beautiful Lady Mist, and she was in early at 8:12 CST. Then we have Connie Cleary. How you doing, sweetie?
Hello.
There's that Troy guy. He's got a crush on me. Curtis Selby saying hello to everyone. Mr. Landau's Groovy Movies. Yep. I know I saw other names. Oh, JPRPH1. How you doing, sweetie? Alan Hampton. How are you, honey? Samuel Proctor. Hey, sweetie. Dang, it's Thursday already? Yeah, the week flew by.
I know, right?
Adega Allah. Hi, sweetie. Glad to see you here. And let's see. And that gets me to the bottom of the people who are here right now. So, continue on, sweetie. You were saying?
Yeah, no, I was just, I actually don't remember what I was saying. I was just saying
You're saying that the Twin Peaks Center.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday night.
We've been doing our rewatches of right now we're in the middle of season 2 over on Deleted Scenes channel. But, yes, our guest is going to be, he is, Deleted Scenes introduces us as super fans. I would say this is another super fan. He has chewed a lot of the same ground that we have, as we've talked about doing the Twin Peaks festivals up in Snoqualmie and such. He's gotten to meet a lot of the same people up there himself, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Actually, what I was thinking I might do, Netter, if you're okay with it, is it might be kind of fun if I were to, I could kind of share some of our pictures from our time in Snoqualmie.
You can. Do I need to give you permissions or something?
I need to share. Give me a second, and I will do that.
Okay, then I give you permission to share. How's that?
Share screen. Entire screen. This screen, but I don't want to share the sound because otherwise you'll just hear me echoing twice. And then you add in what I just shared as if it was a guest. Yeah. So we attended the Twin Peaks Festival in Snoqualmie and North Bend, Washington. Oh gosh, I want to say must have been the early to mid 2000s.
Something like that.
Sounds about right. I think our last year was like 2013 or something like that. And so I really don't know for sure what days these were. In fact, okay, so those of you that have been following along on Tuesdays, some of these locations I'm going to mention, you'll kind of already recognize. So, the Roadhouse, right? The Bang Bang Club. This little structure, this little house, is directly behind that, and I honestly, right now, do not remember what it was in the show. If that was used for the I don't know.
I think it was used for the exterior
of the. No, it wasn't maybe it was the exterior of the book house because the interior was a different location. So I think this might have been the exterior for the book house. But it's like right directly behind the Bang Bang Club. Here is that big log that you see, not the one that's on the riverbank by
Laura,
where Laura is found. This is the one you see in the opening all the time. It didn't used to have this structure over it. They put this structure up because it's wood. It was deteriorating over time.
And people would go and take little pieces off of it.
Yeah, that's not too cool. So like here's the texture where it's kind of rotting away. It's got some wormholes in it. So you recognize this, those of you that are like really diehard fans. This is the exterior of the Great Northern, right? As in the first episode, you see Audrey kind of walking out of a door. I can't remember if it was this one or if it was one over here, going to a car. This is actually at the Shalish Lodge.
Which is what the real name of the Great Northern is.
This would be Big Ed and Nadine's house. This is, of course, directly next to Big Ed's gas farm, which would be, directly to the right as you're looking at this house. This as is oftentimes the case when people move into a house that was used in a TV show or a movie or whatever. They had no idea. So, they didn't care much for people showing up and wanting to see the house and wanting to take pictures and so forth. At least back at that time. I don't know who lives there now.
If anyone.
So we've just shifted a little bit to the right, and this would be I actually don't know what this business is. It is not and never has been a gas station at all. That was all a mock-up that was put in front. So those were completely non-functional gas pumps. I don't remember. It was some sort of a shop, but I don't really remember what kind it was.
Well, they were closed when we went there,
so we couldn't even go inside. Okay, so now if you see right there in the very middle left, that's that house that we were looking at before. This, of course, is the Roadhouse. I think they actually now call it the Roadhouse. It wasn't called that at the time. Obviously, it was the Bang Bang Club or whatever. And it's a nice little restaurant. I mean, they got good food there. You can get drinks. It's kind of a, that kind of a place. Really, really nice. Okay. Yeah, and there is no order to these at all. So we're just gonna bounce all over North Bend and whatnot. This is the sign for the Salish. They had an overlay that they put over it that said the Great Northern. It was never called the Great Northern. It is not actually what you'd call a hotel. It's actually a spa. They've got private rooms. You can stay there, but it's ridiculously expensive. So we never have. Also, all of the interiors of the Salish are, none of them are used in Twin Peaks. It's so what we see as the interior of the Great Northern is actually a completely other location. I'll show you in a little bit. Gosh, I feel like, I'm doing like the slides of my vacation or whatever. And it's like, I never thought I would be doing this. Okay. So here's another image of that big log from the opening. You can see how big it is, and you can see how the interior is completely rotting away, which is really kind of sad, which is why they built this structure over it. Okay. So, I'm going to forget names here because I haven't seen these people in years.
Kimmy.
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Kimmy Roberts is on the right. Of course, she plays Lucy. The giant is, and I'm going to mispronounce his last name too because it's Scandinavian.
It's not Swedish. No. Oh, it's no. Wasn't the Swedes that they was going to buy the Ghostwood? Norwegians.
The Norwegians, right? Let me see. Of course, right, and Charlotte Stewart, of course, who's Betty Briggs. And you know what? I'll bet Evelyn's already typing his name into the chat because he also played Mr. Holm in
Star Trek.
Star Trek. In fact, that was the first place we met him, was at a Star Trek convention.
Really nice guy.
Very, very nice.
And quiet. He didn't say a lot.
No, he did not. Let's see. Give me just a second here. I'm terrible. I don't know how to do stuff live. I don't know what I'm doing. Bear with me.
It's not an issue, dear.
Carl, right. Carl, and this is where I'm going to really mess it up. Carl Stroiken? I know I'm mispronouncing that. There's definitely an accent there that I am not going to be able to get. But so this was how it went. It was usually a 3 or 4 day event. You get there Thursday or Friday, and usually the meet and greets were on the days of the week, and then on Saturday they would have like a dinner, and the guests would have a table, where they would sit, and we'd have dinner, and then they'd do like a question and answer kind of,
which is what this was.
Exactly. So this was the question and answer. There's my beautiful netter with with Charlotte. So this is not one of the railroad cars from the episode, from the train car sequence in the early episodes, but there is a railway museum, kind of an end of the road or end of the track kind of place where they put old train cars that they're not using anymore. This is one that was the same style.
So of course we geeked out, took a picture of it.
We had to take a picture of it. Yeah, absolutely. So there's an idea of how tall Carl is, or how short Netter is, depending on how you want to look at it.
I'm 5'4", and I was wearing 2-inch heels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's call her 5'6" in this picture. That's a very tall man. To call him a giant would be absolutely fair. Real quick, want to say hi. Yep. I knew Evelyn had gotten it. Real quick, let me say hi to a Final Fantasy fan, Just came by to say hi. I
Thanks.
won't be here for long. I got a stream to do with Wolf 10 Media. Say hi to Wolfie for us.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, you can always come back and check us out a little bit later on, after the stream or whatever. That's cool. Drop a comment below. Let's see here. Okay, so this one, I'll tell you. So this is the bridge
Ryan's
that
bridge.
the bridge that you see. What's her name? That girl that came down off the mountain.
Arnett, right? Or Teresa Banks.
No, Teresa Banks was the one from Fire Walk with Me. Bear with me.
PJ.
Hey, PJ. Good to see you, my friend. Let's see here. Ronette Pulaski. When Ronette Pulaski comes down, she's crossing this bridge, right? It's actually train tracks. Well, the train tracks no longer run over that bridge. It's now a footbridge. But you can still go up. You can obviously go up there. You can walk on it. It's a lot safer than it used to be because it's not a railway track, right? And somebody had, using a paint pen, written in "Rest in Peace, T. Banks." And I saw this. I immediately had to take a picture of it because anyone who's ever seen Fire Walk with Me knows Teresa Banks is the murder victim that is across the state lines, which is why a federal agent is able to come and investigate in Twin Peaks. So that was a deep dive cut. It was like there was a fan that was here, and I don't think it was anyone in our group that day, but who knows? So this, of course, is the sheriff's station. This is pretty much exactly what it looked like during the show, but it was completely closed down when we went. This was okay. So imagine this: the way we're facing here, we're looking at the sheriff's station,
and that big rock in the front wasn't there.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember.
It's in the show. But when we went back later, a few years later, they took it away. Yeah, it's not there now anymore. In fact, I'm not even sure the building is still there anymore.
Yeah, that's the high school.
That's not the high school. That is the
no,
in
real
station.
Life, it's the
no,
high school.
It's not. Listen, okay. This is the office for the mill. What I'm trying to say is, if you're standing here looking at the sheriff's station and you turn around 180 degrees, you would be looking at the Packard Mill. Of course, it wasn't called the Packard Mill, and it wasn't a wood mill. It's actually a paper mill. They would take wood and turn it into pulp, and this was the office for that business. So they were always strategic in the way they would look out that window when they go through the door, because they didn't want you to see the big stacks and know that the Packard Mill is right directly across, right? But right here, well, am I in the right place? Yeah, right here, that looks right onto Lucy's desk. And we were able to, there is a reception desk there. You can see it and everything. Off to this side here would be the offices, the room where Cooper interrogated Bobby, and they looked at the videos, and the deer head was, or the moose head was on the table, and so forth. I have no idea what that is. Could that be? Oh, it's the ivy that's on the monument here. I don't know why I took a picture of that. Just looked kind of cool the way the copper and bronze or whatever it is had patinaed to look like real leaves because it was green. Okay, so here is that bridge. Obviously, it's become a bit overgrown now. It's no longer railroad track, and right in here is where that R.I.P. T. Banks was. In fact, when we were there were kids playing on it, jumping off into the river. So this is this is directly across from where we would meet. It's what do you call it? Municipal building or whatever. This motel is where they filmed the scene in Fire Walk with Me, where and by the way, there's going to be some spoilers for Fire Walk with Me, and especially season 1 of Twin Peaks. But when Leland goes to the motel to meet a couple girls, and then he realizes one of them's Laura, it's this hotel right here. And in fact, the room would be like right over here. And apparently the proprietor has kept that room exactly the way it was when it was filmed, and you can go in and look at it. It's not much to look at, but it is what it is. Here's a look at the mountains from that bridge, from Ronette's Bridge is what we were always calling it. This is the closest thing to Twin Peaks. There's actually a lot of mountains in this area, so there's no two that really constitute Twin Peaks. But
and those mountains were beautiful. You step really outside your motel room, and they're like right there.
Yeah, they really are. There we go. There's the Lucy's. So this is a picture, taken from the doorway, or not the doorway, but the window next to the door, the window right in. So, that's how it was when we were there. And then, like I said, I don't think it's even there anymore. This is what's left of the Packard Mill. So like I said, you turn directly around and there's the Packard Mill. There was even only one chimney, or whatever you'd call it, silo left. And there was like more building, and that was all like rubble. It was obviously no longer in use for a very long time. And here is that famous bend in the road where you would see, entering the town of Twin Peaks, the sign and whatnot. I mean, when we were there, and everyone would get together and have a picture taken, the fans had mocked up the sign to put there to take a picture in front of. And for a while, they had actually, the town had actually put a replica sign there that got hit by a car and then had to be replaced. Seriously, I kid you not. But now the river the banks have risen to the point where the river line comes almost right to here. And the pole is now moved to the other side. And all of these trees are gone because they've flooded out. It's actually kind of sad, but it happens over time. Yeah, here's another shot of that the sheriff's station. Yeah, like I said, there's no particular order. Here's a close up on that monument. You could see that there's a
sundial.
Sundial. Yeah, exactly. I hope that still exists somewhere in the town. I don't know. Here's looking right onto Ronette's Bridge. So you can kind of see how this used to be train tracks, and now it's been, I don't want to call it paved. I think it's just
just wood planks.
Wood planks. I mean, it's good and solid. It's not just laid down. In fact, off here to the left, there is still a switching, a rail car switching, for the tracks. Obviously not functional because the tracks aren't even connected any longer. This is a picture of the, is this the original? Yeah, no, this is the original. This isn't the mock-up. Just from the show, just to give you an idea.
Yeah, it's like I actually had taken the picture with my phone, and I was showing to someone, and they're like, they recreated the sign? Because I had taken it really close up to make it look like it wasn't a picture of a picture.
Yeah, exactly. This is obviously the I think this is still current. I think they're still calling it Roadhouse, but this obviously used to be the Bang Bang Club, and now it's like I said, they're calling it the Roadhouse. And that's all I had in that one. Give me a second. I know I have another folder here. Oh, these are. That's a picture. Obviously, the famous one. They had that on display on one of the tables there. So here's a picture of the diner, the Double R Diner, back when it was Marty's, before the fire. This is an actual cup at the diner, home of Twin Peaks cherry pie. Okay, so that see, this is what I said. They're not in any order. I will probably be putting these into a slideshow that's actually in some sort of semblance of order. This is the motel from Fire Walk with Me, and I'm not sure if it was this room or this room that is the one that Laura and Ronette were in. I don't remember. Oh no, Laura and Teresa. This, I believe, is the location. See, Josh Eisenstadt, who was interviewed by our guest tonight. Go check out his channel. Make sure you're oh, I should have said that up front. Even though our guest isn't here yet, don't worry about that. Down below in the description is his YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Just be careful what you're watching over there. I'm looking at you, Deleted Scenes, when you come by. Going to be a lot of spoilers for season 3 over there. The assumption is you've already seen season 3. So if you're doing the watch through with us and you haven't gotten to season 3 yet, you might want to hold off on watching some of his videos. But please go subscribe nonetheless. He does have, you go all the way back to the beginning, and he's got some great interviews. He interviews, like I said, Josh Eisenstadt. And I'll tell you who he is in a second. Jennifer Lynch, and a number of other people connected to the show.
Disney Sheepherder.
Oh, hey, Disney Sheepherder. Good to see you. So, Josh Eisenstadt has got to be the most knowledgeable person in the world about Twin Peaks. He's got like this savant memory of trivia, behind the scenes, all things Lynch. I know myself and Deleted Scenes are big fans. We couldn't hold a candle to Josh, and he was doing the tour that we were taking to see a lot of these locations, and he brought us to. This was on a Sunday, so the last day of the festival. We had just had lunch with all the guests and whatnot. And he was taking us on a tour. He showed us where, the different locations are in the opening, the river, and, and whatnot. And right in here somewhere is where probably right about here, actually, is where James and Donna bury the locket. But I also think, I don't know for sure, but I believe this is a location from season 3 that I won't talk about so as not to do any spoilery spoils. So here's another shot of so this is obviously new, home of Twin Peaks cherry pie, but the sign looks very much like it did. It just doesn't have the double R above it. No, this isn't it. It's over this way. I think I have a picture of it later. There's a picture of my netter, and these are the Snoqualmie Falls that you see in the opening all the time. So we have walked, so like literally behind this tree, about this big, is the Shalish Lodge, the Great Northern. You can't see it in this picture.
To walk down to the bottom of the falls from up there, it takes a good 40 minutes or so.
Because it's all switchbacks, yeah.
And to walk up takes a lot longer.
Yeah, my legs were hurting me by the time this was done. Here's a close-up of that, section of the woods I was just talking about.
I just thought that tree was
There's a great long shot of this is just a great nature shot. We got a lot of these here, so I'll go through them quickly. This is from up at the top of the falls, looking out on the trees. You could kind of see there was what do they call that? The
cable cars?
The cable cars. Yeah. For moving wood. There's another shot of tweeds. Flappy.
There's Flappy, just for age boomer.
Yep, I told you we met Flappy, the bird you see in the opening. Now, of course, there's no reason to believe this is the actual bird.
That's Flappy.
But this is that branch that the bird was on. Josh had pointed it out to us, and when a bird landed on it, I was like, damn, we got to get that picture. There's another shot from the top of the falls. God, it was just so beautiful. We were just taking all of these pictures.
Yeah, the pictures do not do it justice. It's gorgeous.
And here you could see these are little bit people compared to the size of the falls.
Yeah, it's like I was actually standing on, there's like a lookout bridge when you get to the bottom there. You're not technically supposed to go down onto the rocks, but a couple of us climbed down and went over there anyway. Because we're rebels.
And believe it or not, at this distance, you could still feel that mist on your face.
Oh, yeah.
Orville Nation says, I see Bigfoot. Yeah, probably.
Right there.
The owls are not what they seem, my friends. Here's another. So, obviously, you can still see the wake of the falls. So, the falls are right here. This is a shot down from the very top, right behind, the so-called Great Northern. It's beautiful. This is a shot you don't normally see in the show. Yeah, and then this is us just before you start getting to the switchbacks, looking straight down into the falls. I actually don't remember where this was. Was this leaving the town? Or was this it? This might have been between North Bend and Snoqualmie. That should look a little bit more familiar from the opening.
And it looks so tiny there.
Well, yeah. I mean, when if we had the panoramic shot, you'd kind of see how big it is. There we go. That's the famous shot you guys are used to. Yeah, and this was actually low. It was so low that it was coming down in two separate streams. They said sometimes it gets so big that it covers this whole area. And they said it's even frozen over in the wintertime.
It's like, I think they were having a drought at that time, so it wasn't as flowy.
I want to say this was from the plane. I think that was Mount Rainier. I can't remember now.
Could be.
So this is, like I said, this is the municipal building that's directly across from that motel I was telling you guys about. This is fan-made Twin Peaks Town Hall. This was where we would meet on basically every morning. They'd lay out the spread of donuts from the local bakery with little bits of raspberry jam and black feathers. Poor Waldo. Oh, there's 350-pound Troy over there.
Is that you?
That is me.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a big boy. Okay, that gets us to the end of that one. One more folder, guys. Appreciate you guys not falling asleep on us.
And as the banner at the bottom says, we are still waiting for our guest to appear. He had something else he had to do that he couldn't get away from. So hopefully he'll be here shortly.
So speaking of 350-pound Troy, this was not 2010. This had to be a later year That was either 2011 or 2012. That's me with Kimmy, with Lucy, so to speak. Charlotte Stewart. This was the last year we were there. I remember because I remember just having a little chat with Charlotte about how just really bothered I was about my weight, and how no, we didn't go in 2013 because that was the year it would have been the falls. You couldn't go to the bottom of the falls. They were
Right.
and she said it's
going
to be 2 or 3 years. She says you come after that, you work on it, you'll lose a bunch of weight, and then you'll be able to walk up and down those falls no problem. And I really set out to start losing weight after this point, partly because she encouraged me. Jennifer Lynch.
She was cool.
Yes, she was. Oops. Where'd you see that? Okay. So this is an interesting shot. This, I know I'm going to have to put this into a slideshow and put the scene from the show into it. There's a scene in the pilot, I think it's the pilot, where James rides his motorcycle off. He's upset about Laura and all this stuff. And he sits down on this outcropping and looks out over the valley. It was like all rocks at the time it was filmed. They put up a little paving here and turned it into a little park. So this is that outlook that James was sitting on. And it looks like he's sitting on the edge of a cliff because of the way they angled it. But you could actually go down, into where those trees are at. You could walk over this edge, and I mean, you could slip and fall and take a tumble, but it's pretty safe. See, that's what it looks like. And it goes down a ways. That's a pretty tall tree there. That was just some people we met there. Again, Rainier. I don't know why we have a picture of a Guinness glass. Some of the people we met there. Yeah. I don't remember what that was about.
It was a neat looking tree.
This is the river you see in the very opening that's implied to be like Laura floating down the river, which you don't actually see in the show.
This was just off where we had the picnic.
Yep. If you were to turn directly around, that's where the picnic tables would be, where we were eating. This house that we're looking at, we are standing inside the house of the park ranger, at the location where we were having lunch. This is, I want to say, in Fire Walk with Me, I think it was Deer Meadow Sheriff's Department or whatever, but this is actually the house of the forest ranger.
Now, you don't see this part in the show.
You don't.
You see the little tiny room we're about to
probably about to. Yes.
That one.
This is a bedroom in that house.
And somebody's arm.
Yeah. Because they're talking through the shooting location. Right. We are looking into the room, but now imagine a camera pointing into that room through that window. Okay? That's the way the room was shot, and that was the office of the sheriff in Fire Walk with Me.
To make it look really huge, they had to do it outside, and they had to do a certain angle. Just
we had a
people
lot
being weird.
Okay. This building is kitty corner from the Double R Diner, right? It's a furniture store, and above it is, of course, storage. I don't think, obviously, the windows are broken. They haven't used it. But this top section is where, inside there is where they set up and shot all the scenes of the lockup for the sheriff's department. So that's where Bobby and Mike and James were locked up in the first episode. The dog barking scene. There I am again with some friends we met there. There's Netter and Jen. Oh, no, that's not Jen. That's oh, Lucy's sister.
Right, who was in Gilmore Girls.
Right.
As Luke's sister.
Yeah.
She was Luke's sister.
Yep. Oh, what was this house?
Wasn't that the outside of the Ranger's house? Where it's got that little room in the corner there?
Oh, I think you're right. Yes, this is the Ranger's house. So this would have been the, although this isn't the exterior that they shot, but.
So that far right window.
Yeah.
That's that little tiny room.
Yeah. That's the little office, that they use.
It was tiny.
Yeah, we stayed, they took us into the house to do a tour, but I wanted to stay away as much as possible from, the exterior of their house, because you don't want to like trample through their, flower beds and over their grass and stuff like that. I was trying to be as considerate as I possibly could.
And they could only let in like 4 of us at a time because it was so small.
I took pictures of the house as long as I was there, but they weren't scenes that actually showed up in the show. Oh, this is the gentleman that was the proprietor of the motel we were staying at, which was actually outside of town. It was just a cheap place to stay, and he was so nice. I honestly don't. I have no idea why we took this picture. There you guys are again. Oh, this is the costume contest, and missed
because we couldn't see the top of the mountains. We thought it was funny.
A mock-up that they did for the Red Room. I thought that was pretty cool the way they came up with the, brown and tan.
And it was like a year or so after this, I happened to have a lamp that looked like a
very
replica.
Close to the Saturn lamp that was used in that scene. There we are with Sherilyn Fenn. Yeah.
She's a little older on this picture than she was in Twin Peaks.
A little bit, yeah. And then so
and you can tell this is a new year because my hair is darker. It's back to my natural color.
Right.
And Troy's a little bit thinner.
Yep. Give me again. So Jennifer, and I'm going to draw a blank here. This would be Donna's mother in the show. And then, like I said, people would pose in the Red Room. Got the back of somebody's head.
No, that was Jacob with his huge hair.
Oh, Jacob. Yeah, he had a whole fro going on. That's true.
He's the only white guy I ever knew that had an afro. And this thing was like 4 times the size of his head.
He's got the same kind of hair as Viva Frei. Basically.
Yeah, but Viva Frei doesn't have an afro that sticks out like 4 feet from his head.
I'm forgetting this gentleman's name too, but he was the one who did all the Norwegian language. He literally played the interpreter.
Yeah.
At the Great Northern, translating to the Norwegians, because he's fluent in Norwegian. But, obviously he was also the language coach for all the actors that needed to speak Norwegian. Want to real quick say hi to Jedi Bill, because I saw you're here. Thanks for stopping by. We just took nature shots because it was just really so beautiful. Again, the costume contest. This would look nice on your wall. Yes. Charlotte.
Oh, and Geek Flag with Nate is also here. Hi, sweetie.
Oh, hey, Nate. So this is the mock, I told you they did a mock-up sign. This was just a fan-made thing that was there for the weekend. They had since, like I said, the town had constructed something that was a little bit better. That got hit by a car and then got replaced.
That was after Jen signed The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer for me.
Yep, that's my copy that she signed for us, right? Blue Rose. There's Jacob.
Oh, his hair is more tame in that picture.
Yeah.
But he would poof that thing out. There's Netter.
There's Netter, yep. And you know what? Oh, wait a minute. I'm forgetting this bloke's name, but he also did tours. He knows his stuff too. And there I am, yes. So this is great. So this is the opposite side of Ronette's Bridge, so if you were on the other side there looking towards it, that's the way you see it in the show. But now this is how you walk up to it. And like I said, there was a switching station. I think it's like right in here. I'm pretty sure that's where it's at. This is us in the bus as we were going to the different locations. You can see that the big log, and there's a train track that goes through here. So you go farther down, and you can see the train, where the train cars were, where they filmed those scenes, of the murder site, so to speak. This is that kid that I was talking about who was jumping off, swimming. Yeah, rest in peace, Teresa Banks. This is the school. So it really is, I don't know if it's Snoqualmie High School or what it is, but the exterior and the interior were used for all the high school scenes. And one year, this was our meeting location. There's the Roadhouse again. This is us on the tour. There's another shot down at the falls. We're back at Ed and Nadine's. We've pretty much come full circle. This is that lookout again from a distance. This is someone actually sitting there where James had sat. Got the picture.
Hey, he's like, let me sit here so we have a visual.
You could see how low the river was at this point.
And they were actually doing some construction there.
Well, actually, there used to be it's not a reclamation, but a treatment thing here. And I don't know if this was before it was built or after they took it down, one of the two. Again, I don't know what we're looking at here. Snoqualmie Point, that's the location where James gets, his Preston Mill. Imagine, I showed you Ed and Nadine's house, right? You slide over to the right and there's Big Ed's farm. You slide over a little bit farther and this is what's to the right of it. So that shows you the location going to Preston Mill. Again, yeah, everyone had to, pose for pictures in the places they were. Here you go. This is another one of the train cars. Here's a long shot of that motel. Snoqualmie, is that? I can't even read that. One of the fanzines. So there was one bloke who had this monkey on his shoulder throughout and would take and have its picture taken, and other people would have their picture taken. They called it Judy the Party Primate. At the time, this was after Fire Walk with Me, when we didn't really know what or who Judy was, whether Judy was the monkey who said Judy or not. We weren't sure, but it was really kind of cool. And he actually made a Facebook page for Judy the Party Primate, and all the pictures would go up from of this little character at these different get-togethers. Full of secrets, critical. A lot of books that people have written. I have gotten since then all of the copies of the Twin Peaks Gazette that was actually put out. I think there was only 4 that came out. Behind the Scenes. It's another one of the Gazettes, the same fanzine. Yep, we're here. We just kind of took pictures of everything that was on the tables. Okay, so here's a long shot of that municipal building where we met for the first couple of years.
More donuts.
The donuts. A lot of this is pretty Snoqualmie Falls. A lot of this is pretty repetitious. These are actually train tracks that you can see from the falls. It wasn't running when we were there, but it's pretty cool. Look at that distance. It's amazing.
Yeah, this was all just so beautiful.
Oh, right. And then Laura's house. These are actually pictures of Laura's house from the show, not from Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to go in there, if I recall. Those we got from somewhere else, don't we?
Yes. And there I am again with Charlotte. So those are our wonderful memories of our time in Twin Peaks. Yes, we really were there. Yes, we really did have the pie and the donuts and everything that they would have had when they did the show. Dude, I just realized today.
Ben Horn was Tony from West Side Story.
Yes, he was, and Ray Wise, Leland was also in it. I can't remember the roles, and so was Dr. Jacoby. He was also in West Side Story. So yeah, go back and double check that. That is true. But yeah, it was, and so our guest tonight, who I hope can still make it, he was just telling me very, very recent. Oh dear, fell asleep watching new Roadhouse. Speaking of Roadhouse, right? Just woke up. Well, I'll be looking forward to that review then, Big Al. We have been vamping for about 50 minutes. We knew that our guest was not going to be able to make it on time. He's hoping to be here maybe in the next 10 minutes or so. Don't know. He had a family situation. We'll see.
Yeah. So I keep checking Twitter, see if he's responded to me there, or if he just simply shows up because I sent him the link.
If you are at all interested, I just did a little slideshow of our years going to the Snoqualmie and North Bend Twin Peaks festivals, just kind of showing us with, some of the people from Twin Peaks, from the show, people that we met there, and some of the locations. I'm actually surprised. Either I haven't found them. We had a bunch of pictures from the Kiana Lodge, the interior of the Great Northern, which also acts as the exterior for the Packard Mill. The Pete Martell's house when he goes out to go fishing and finds Laura's body. So I don't know what happened to those pictures, but
I might have them.
Yeah, well, if you do find them, we'll show them. It doesn't have to be tonight, but I did want to show because those interiors and the paintings they have on the walls, I don't know. It's really beautiful. It really is cool. Yeah. So
where's that picture? I just had a picture.
I would say we went at least 5 times, maybe 4 or 5 times, between like 1999 or no, 20. Let's see. Yeah, 1999 to no. It had to be like 2009 to 2013, something like that. It might have been a little bit before because I don't think we went every year. That's a bit of an expense. We'd have to fly out to Washington, stay there for 4 or 5 days, fly back. It was, and then the getting tickets to the events, it was pretty expensive, and just not kind of very cost prohibitive. But I figured we would do it while we could, and then And then, like I said, 2013, we said let's take a break because we wouldn't be able to go up and down. The whole area around the falls was closed off. So I said we'll take a little bit of a break. And then life just got in the way. And then they stopped doing the fest for a lot of years. There was a lot of behind the scenes craziness and whatnot. With the people that were putting it on and whatnot. And I thought it was over and done with. And I have seen online people posting the pictures that have either visited, on their own or who live in the area, showing, how much things have changed, which is a little bit sad. But
I'm going to MeWe you a picture of the lodge with the lamp that we
oh,
gave
okay.
them. Because you're better at sharing this stuff than I am.
Sure. I'll bring it up.
Paste.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Open image, new tab. Okay. Let me bring that up. There we go.
Yeah, so that lamp.
Wait, I haven't shared it yet.
Oh. Higher than me.
Yep. Give me a second here. I got to get back to StreamYard. This is me pulling my boomer moment here. Present. Share screen. Entire screen without sound. There we go.
There's no sound on that image.
No, if I share with sound, you'll be getting my audio double.
So that lamp on the table is one we donated to the cause, as it were. And those coverings on the floor were actual rugs that they had made up for this.
And that chair is the identical, not the chair that they actually filmed, but the exact style of chair from that they used in the show. Very, very expensive. I mean, also very comfortable. I mean, it should be said, but
you could tell it was years later because my hair's a lot longer.
And I actually have one of these lamps on my bar. Yeah, you can't even see in this picture the Saturn ring that's on it, but there is a Saturn ring there. Oh, and we have also actually gotten so this particular lamp that was used in Twin Peaks was from some World Fair. Very, very expensive Art Deco pieces.
It was from the 1928, I think, World Fair.
Yeah. So there aren't many of them out there. Very difficult to get. We got one that was broken and reassembled. So we've got it, but it doesn't work. And what
it does work.
Does it work?
It does work. It just has a bunch of cracks in there. So it's like, it needs to be glued
What
properly.
I've wanted to do is use it and do a casting of it and make a brand new lamp. That's the kind of crazy stuff I do, but yeah.
Since I have this one folder open, I am going to grab all those pictures and I'm going to put them on a thumb drive for you so you have them.
Cool.
I don't know if the lodge ones are here, but that one big dinner we had, those pictures are in there.
Oh, good. So I will take all of your pictures, put them with all of my pictures, make an ordered slideshow so that everything, kind of flows naturally. So, I don't want you guys to think that, anyone who usually joins us on Tuesdays who might not be here would have missed out. We'll do another dedicated show on
because you also have to show the yearbook. Do you have that down here?
What?
The Twin Peaks yearbook that we're in.
I do. I don't know where it is right offhand.
I have pictures of that too. In fact, I'm putting them on this thumb drive for you.
Yeah, I don't think I have it right here handy. I know I've got it around somewhere, but I wasn't planning on showing it tonight. So,
okay, no worries.
But what was I gonna? I was gonna say something. Oh, Nate has a dad joke. What planet is in the solar system is God's favorite planet, Saturn. He likes it, so he liked it, so he put a ring on it. I like that. But technically, there's a ring around Jupiter and Neptune as well. And does Uranus have a ring? No. Neptune has a ring, but Uranus doesn't. Am I right? I may be wrong about that. I don't know.
There's also, we also have pictures that show Troy will show at a later date of me wrapped in plastic on that same beach.
That is right. Yes. Yes.
I'm copying over those pictures.
Hey,
right
Lady
now.
V. Lady V creeps in behind Netter. Hugs. Yeah. Yes. These jokes are old, and so are the people telling them. That's absolutely true.
Oh, and Daryl the Derelict.
Welcome, Daryl the Derelict, my friend. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. So awesome that you stopped by. Yeah. Normally we'd be wrapping up right now, but we are kind of continuing to vamp because we do hope that our guest might still be able to make it in.
Yeah, he had a family situation, and he said that he would probably be about an hour late. So we're just vamping for that, like the little banner on the bottom says, our guest will be a little late tonight.
Welcome, Deleted Scenes. Yes, we will definitely be doing some behind the scenes deep dive in later episodes of Sparkwood and 21 on Tuesdays. So
Sashi, hi Sashi.
And welcome, Sashi. Good morning or afternoon where you're at. I forget the time difference. But yeah, now you guys are all saying hi to each other. Good.
We always say hi to each other because we're good that way.
I may as well do what we would normally do at the end of a show, but I want to just take a little bit longer with this because I want to talk through some things. Tomorrow night, of course, last call with Troy Pacelli. That's me over on my channel. Link in the description below. My guest will be Andy Masterson of the Laboratory of Mayhem. We'll be talking custom action figures, and I will show off not only the Lou Ferrigno Hulk that I've made, which some of you have actually already seen on a stream, but you will see how I am going to be displaying it. And we will talk about the next figure that I will be making to go with that Hulk action figure. We'll be talking with Andy about his work, carving, not carving, it's not called carving, sculpting 1/6 scale heads. He does a bunch of custom action figures in the G.I. Joe Barbie-ish scale. And you've probably seen his work on such shows as Midnight's Edge After Dark, or Doomcock, or just about anything Mikey the Mexican Iron Man is on. He does custom action figures of some of those bigger YouTube channels. So we'll talk about that, and some of the people that he's made figures for and so forth. And we're going to drink. We will, of course, always drink. But I'm thinking about doing something different tomorrow night. I've been simulcasting on Twitter for a couple weeks now. Last week, I simulcasted to Rumble, which worked just fine during the stream, but I mucked it up afterwards, and I accidentally erased it off of Rumble. So I'm going to have to back it up again from YouTube. So it won't be in the live stream section. It'll be in the, videos section. But I think what I want to do going forward is start the show on YouTube, simulcasting on all 3 platforms. And after 2 hours, I'm going to shut down the YouTube stream and ask you guys all to come over to Rumble and watch the rest of the however long I decide to go after that over on Rumble. I'd like to start getting people subscribed to me over on, or following me, or whatever they call it over there on Rumble. Get a little bit of watch time over there, because believe it or not, I'm actually monetized over there. If you have 1 follower and 1 video up, technically you can be monetized on Rumble.
I got a whole 11 cents.
I have made about 41 cents. No, sorry, 40 cents on Rumble, which is amazing because I am only followed by 42 people on Rumble. Think about that. I have over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I have made goose egg on YouTube. Why? Because I haven't jumped through all the hoops yet. You got to have 1,000 subscribers. You've got to have 3,000 watch hours. Haven't gotten to 3,000 watch hours yet. All this time, all of my content, YouTube is still making money on. They're still, you guys are probably still getting ads on this and whatnot. But that's the way it goes.
For those of you who don't know what Rumble is and want to kind of check it out, I just dropped the link to my Rumble.
Yeah, go subscribe to Netter on Rumble.
Or follow or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm actually not sure what it looks like from somebody coming in's point of view. But it's like on my side, I could see what videos I've uploaded. And apparently all mine are monetized. But it's like they don't get a lot of views over there because I haven't really advertised Rumble too much. So I made that whole 11 cents.
So that's basically what I'm getting at. That's what we're going to start doing. We're going to start, asking you to subscribe to our Rumble channels as well, and get a little bit more of a show over there. After we wrap up over here on tomorrow night, we'll go over to Rumble and keep the show going for as long as my guest and Netter and I are able to keep our eyes open.
Okay, I would drop Troy's Rumble, but not, oh wait, maybe it's here.
I will definitely have the Rumble
here it is.
link.
Oh, well, his isn't as pretty as mine.
I will have the link to the show in the chat tomorrow night. So I just wanted to mention that about
Lady V beat me to it.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you,
And Saturday night, of course, we will be over on Big Al Presents for Night of the Lepus, wonderful Easter Bunny, film. Well, not really. It's a bunny, or bunnies plural, which technically
big bunnies
makes it Easter adjacent. Let's say.
Curtis Selby said he subbed to both of us on.
You're awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm probably at about 43 followers over on Rumble.
Actually, I have no idea what I have over there. I should go look.
I'm just shocked that I have, like 40 cents over there. And I'm like, really? I haven't even promoted this or, whatever. But,
let's see if this tells.
That's what happens when you have a platform that actually wants you to, make money with them and create content over there and wants to work with you. So yeah, I'm not planning on. Troy has 43. Thank you, Curtis. I
2024 earned a whole 2 cents.
And keep in mind, like I said, I am not planning on, shutting down my YouTube or anything. I will keep doing everything I'm doing here on YouTube. I will just start extending my show out on Friday nights. We'll have a little bit later show over on Rumble. So there you go. Had a double check on the Rumble thank you, Connie. Yeah, it's possible that some of y'all are in that 43, and just, because we haven't been saying anything about it, you went and subscribed and just never went back there again, which I understand. Like I said, I haven't really been promoting it. So Saturday is Big Al's movie night. Sunday is Sunday 3 Central, 4 Eastern, I think. Deleted Scenes and Jedi Bill for Western Cinema Presents. Oh, thank you, Samuel Proctor. Thank you. Yeah, I think Netter had. Okay, so John, you just reminded me of something. Rumble is a little different from YouTube.
Yep.
So how I have a channel here, Last Call, right? And I also have a channel that I really don't promote much or do much with, and that's the Klingon Cleric channel. They are two separate channels. Over on Rumble, you create an account or whatever, and then you can have multiple channels under that account, which is weird. And when I go into like comment, say on a Midnight's Edge video or something, I don't come up as Last Call with Troy Pacelli. I don't come up as the Klingon Cleric. I come up as R Flatstone because that's the name that I created my Rumble account under years before I even started my YouTube show. So, and there's no way to change that. Don't even get me started. There are things I like about Rumble. There are some things I really don't.
Yeah, I used to have another one that was Netters Network, but it was, or maybe it was my real name. And I ended up having to delete that one so that I only had Netters Network.
But like Samuel said, or no, I'm sorry, it was John who said it. Looks like he's subscribed to two Netters Network related channels.
Oh.
So it's probably still there.
No, I'm looking at my channels. It's only showing Netters Network, all one word.
It's because you would literally have to log out and log into the other one. You probably are under a different email, or one is under your Facebook and the other's under your Google, or something stupid like that.
When I had the other one, it was showing under my channels, both of them. And then I deleted the one.
Okay.
So right now it looks like I have 13 follows, and everyone that just followed me, I followed you back.
Absolutely. Thank you. So Western Cinema, 3 Central, 4 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and or Jedi Bill's channel. Of course, later that evening, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, would be Unscripted with Deleted Scenes on Deleted Scenes channel. 8 Central, 9 Eastern on AG Boomer's channel. See, I know this. I gotta be careful. I don't want to dox anybody. Got to be careful when I call people.
Okay, our guest Twittered me and said, well, at that time it was 10:06 our time.
So about 5 minutes ago.
Said that they'd be on in about 20 minutes. And now I've got it's 10:16, so
shortly.
Yeah,
shortly. We got time to get through the week.
Yep.
Geeky Geezers, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. We got some more. You know what? I can even actually look and give you a little bit of a preview because I got. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the Acolyte. We're going to talk a little bit about the gaming industry. Looks like some talk about Beetlejuice 2, Aliens Romulus, Popeye live action film. Another one is coming. Some more talk about Nelson Peltz, and of course, some James Bond casting information we'll be talking about. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Darth George too. That will be on Geeky Geezers. And then, of course, wrapping up the weekend, this was a nice de-stressor stream. I just spent all day being emotionally manipulated by a scammer under the guise of buying my art. Oh, damn, that sucks. I'm sorry, Samuel. That's probably the worst part, right? When you think you're actually going to be able to do business with someone or whatever, and it turns out to be they're feeding you a line. I hate that. So we will I hate scammers too. So we will wrap up the weekend over on Deleted Scenes channel with The Other Side of Midnight, which is the other side of midnight Eastern time. It's a little bit after 11 Central time. Brings us to Monday. Last call Monday night at the movies.
That's a thing now.
I haven't decided what we're going to watch. Maybe since Ghostbusters Frozen Empire releases this weekend, maybe we'll watch the original Ghostbusters. Or maybe Ghostbusters 2. Haven't decided yet. We'll figure it out. Or maybe we'll just go really late and we'll do a double feature. Don't know. We'll see. That will be Monday night on my channel. Okay. I got some encouragement from Ms. Encourager herself, Lady V. Samuel Proctor's never seen Ghostbusters 2. Curtis is saying Ghostbusters. I may very well do both, but maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll start a little early. Double sounds great to Dee Dee Myers. Welcome, Dee Dee Myers Jr. Welcome. So maybe I will do that. Maybe I will start at like 8 Central, 9 Eastern. And again, what I'll do is we'll simulcast on Rumble. I will do Ghostbusters on all platforms. Then we'll shut down YouTube, and then we'll continue on with Ghostbusters 2 over on Rumbles and Twitter. How's that sound? And Deleted Scenes is looking for names for membership levels. I have Sceners and Clippers so far, but I would use a couple. I could use a couple more suggestions. Deleters. Deleters should be the bottom level, the entry level. Deleters, Clippers, Sceners, and top tier. Something that doesn't fall into that. Something that's a little bit different, like Cinema Files. Just a thought. That's just off the top of my head. Maybe I'll come up with something better if I can think about it a little bit. Double your pleasure with Doublemint Ghostbusters. Yeah, right? Exactly. So yeah, maybe I'll start a little bit. Or Hobo Troy. Okay. I think that became detached from something I said earlier. I don't know, but fair enough. So that will be maybe we'll do a double feature on Monday night. That might be a lot of fun. Also show you some things I just got in the mail that are Ghostbusters related. Hobo Raiders. Okay, fair enough. So Monday. Of course, Tuesday. You saw the promo at the beginning of the show. Sparkwood and 21 on Deleted Scenes channel. I'm sure that Netter and Age of Boomer will also be simulcasting it. That will be Tuesday at 7:30, 8:30 Eastern. Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing Wednesday. Although this has nothing to do with what I'd be streaming on Wednesday. A lot of you guys that follow me on a regular basis know that Wednesday is usually my Dungeons and Dragons game, but the Dungeons and Dragons game has kind of sputtered out because our dungeon master who was running the campaign is my attorney, and he's actually now a managing partner of his own law firm. And he has gotten very, very, very busy. So he has been unable to run the games for a couple months, actually. And I said I would pick up the slack and run a different game. And but I'm going to need some help from people that know gaming a little bit better than I do. There is a independently created simplified role playing game called Little Town, based on Twin Peaks. So I may be doing a Twin Peaks role-playing game on Wednesdays with my D&D group. So we'll see how that turns out. Curtis plays D&D now and then. I got like 2 videos up on my channel of an old, telling the story of an old campaign that we did. I just have not had the time to make content to continue that series. I think it would be a really good story. I think people would really, really enjoy it. So that's Wednesday. Thursday. Next week, right here, Netter's Network will bring you a very, very special guest.
Yes.
Who would that be?
Tom Connors.
Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge, Midnight's Edge After Dark, and Mead Radio will be joining us next week. It won't be the same format. We won't be doing it interview style. We're going to do a watch party, something we would have done on a Monday night, but Tom, Mondays? Yeah, no, he's too busy on Mondays. But he could free up time on Thursday. Next week, we will be watching the Spice Diver edit of David Lynch's Dune. That is a 3-hour movie. So prepare to buckle in, and maybe, have a rough time getting up for work on Friday. But yeah, so that's what we're doing next week. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think this is a great time to kind of get caught up on that. I have had this fan edit of Dune for a long time and haven't watched it. So this will be my opportunity to watch it for the first time. And Tom is kind of a subject matter expert on David Lynch's Dune and the Spice Diver edition specifically. So that's why he's joining us. It's an excuse to bring him in, really, because we like hanging out with Tom. So that will be next week, Thursday.
Yep.
The chat's going by too fast for me to keep up with. What is a woman nowadays? Samuel Proctor? Right. I know it wasn't. Oh, okay. You guys think Lady V might have been trying to scam Samuel Proctor? No. She's a community cheerleader. She is an encourager. She would not be trying to scam Samuel Proctor. I got an interesting person on Insta who, while she shared a very interesting photo, found herself blocked. Look, I'll tell you, it's very disconcerting, all the bots that are out there. I will post something on Twitter. Some of you guys will respond or like or whatever. And then I'll see a like from somebody. Whenever I see a like from somebody I don't know, I hover over them to see if, they're part of the community. Maybe they follow other people I follow or something. When they don't follow anyone I follow, I just, let's see who that is. And then I look and they have no posts. They have no history. It's a picture of a pretty girl, looking for blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh gosh, why?
I'm getting those.
Yeah, I'm sure. What's funny too is then they send direct messages, and the name on the account is one thing, but the message introduces herself as someone else entirely. Or sometimes the account is a male name coming up as a female, and it's like, You know what? Don't no. Married, not interested, just move along.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of creepy when I'm getting some of these women going, I want to see my fill in the blank. And it's like, no, I really don't. I'm married to a man. And no.
Yeah.
I really have no interest in another woman's boobs.
Sashi, I'm not on social media. Those places are hives of scum and villainy. Well, not quite as bad as Washington, D.C., but close. Yeah. Not married, might be mildly interested, but I hope I am not that. Yeah. Don't, I would not begrudge somebody who knows it's a scam. And like some of these YouTubers who scam the scammers, you want to play around with them, waste their time and whatnot. That's all fun. They deserve it. But, it's just creepy. I cut back on the social media. I have dropped Snapchat and TikTok. Never had either of those.
Yeah, neither have I.
I used to have Facebook, but my account got hacked and I had to reset my a number of times. And then I finally just said, F it. I got my thing reset so I could get back into it. pulled down all of my pictures, and closed my Facebook page. I said, I'm done. I'm done with Facebook.
That's the only reason why I think I'm still on Facebook is because I'm a mod on a couple of different groups.
Yeah.
But it's like all the games I used to play,
They're gone.
they don't exist anymore. So it's like, what's the point?
John had MySpace. I had a MySpace account too. I did absolutely nothing with it. Nothing at all.
I never had MySpace.
That was a minute ago. Yeah, that was absolutely a long time ago. Yeah, I remember playing games on Facebook. There was like Vampire Wars and Mafia Wars.
Yeah, those ones were good.
I spent way too damn much time. I eventually stopped playing Mafia Wars and just played Vampire Wars. And I really got into it. And I had a group that I was playing with online, and we'd interact, in chat and whatnot, and we'd make up stories about the characters, which goes way beyond what this silly little Farmville-esque type game was meant to be. We created a little wiki about the characters and whatnot. It was actually a lot of fun, but then they closed it up, and I'm like, well, screw it. I said, this is hours of my week I will reclaim. Now that I'm not playing it, I'm not going to waste that on something else,
Not exactly.
Now I waste it on YouTube. I came back to social media after 4 years break. I am only back because I'm setting up an art shop along with somewhere to advertise my future book and film. Samuel, DM me a little bit about that. I would be happy to help you promote that to the little extent that I have any reach.
And
anything.
If you are showing your art on YouTube, I'd love to have you on as a guest. You can show more of it off and talk about it.
If you want to talk about it, if you want to come on the show, absolutely, we could do that for you too. But let's talk. Let's see what we could do to help you out with that. MySpace was cute. I think I remember them having cool music and profile themes. Yeah, some of the early memes all started on MySpace. Social media is great for marketing. Yeah, but Snapchat just had too many thirst traps. That's like we were talking about, right? The girls sending you pictures and stuff like that. Okay. And TikTok, while I feel the government has no right to ban it, I still just think it's dangerous. Yes, it is. But this is the thing I'm trying to get across to. I even had a little bit of a disagreement with Culture Casino about this, because he's all in on this is China, collecting our data, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what do you think all the other platforms are doing? Just maybe not for China. They're doing it for Silicon Valley. They're doing it for the CIA. And don't think they're not. They absolutely are. But if we live in the land of the free, if we have, certain inalienable rights, then if I know that people are collecting my data, then I have every right to use their service, right? When you have a free service, you are the commodity, right? That's why these systems exist, to advertise to you, to collect your data, to sell to advertisers, to advertise more to you. But you don't think that, look at what's happening in Britain. It's more low key here in the States, but it's happening here too. If you're in, Second Amendment groups, or those are the videos that you watch, or you talk about the pew pew freedom tools that you have picked up recently, you better believe you're being watched, and not by China. So yeah, no, I am not in favor of because that's how it starts, right? That's how Department of Homeland Security began, right? 9/11. Oh, we gotta take away a bunch of your freedoms so that you'll have security. Well, You know, we fought that war on terror, and how has that worked out for us? Still got to take off our friggin' shoes every time we go through the airport. Background checks and all this other stuff. You know? So tell me again why we should let them now decide. Oh, yeah, no, because we have decided that TikTok is bad. That's China propaganda, or they're collecting information on you. But that's all because it's China, right? Until they decide, maybe we got to get rid of truth because truth is bad. It's fake news. We're going to shut that down too because that's Russian propaganda is what that is, right? Rumble lets you put out whatever you want without any checks and balances. We got to get rid of Rumble too. That's how it starts. Yeah. Anyone who's old enough to have seen it knows. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is history. Let's see. Those thirst traps are everywhere. Really hard not to look, too.
Oh, it's really easy for me not to look. I have no interest in seeing some woman's cleavage.
I was, for a second there, I thought Lady V was going to start talking about starting her own thirst trap. Sadly, I am still too prone to look and know you are not wrong, Troy. I have thought of that. Yeah, exactly. You know, but you know what? What do you need? What do you need some direct marketing scammer for? You know, the interwebs are full of pictures of naked bottoms. Just Google it up. Maybe an incognito. You know, maybe with a VPN. The quote, grim hustle, and now Troy as well. You are the commodity. Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's not like I came up with something original. There's nothing original about me. Closes deleted curtains. So you're his thirst trap. Okay, I get that. Okay. Sashi's an agent. Yes, right. We are always under surveillance. Yeah. You know, people in the UK are used to it too. There's a camera on every corner. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, I've always said when you're in public, you have no expectation of privacy, right? But when you're in your own home, you have a certain expectation of privacy. But I know Alexa's listening to us all the time. Well, that's interesting. The little blue light didn't come on. Yeah, anyway. Welcome, Cam Newt. Thoughts on the Lemon Musk interview? I have not seen it yet. I have heard about it. I intrigued.
Haven't even heard about it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out. So ask me that again and say about a week or so. Yeah, I'll get caught up. There's just so much to keep caught up on. TikTok is bad, so is CIA and NSA. Yes. CIA, NSA, all of those 3-letter organizations I want gone. I want to get rid of the FBI, get rid of the FDA, what do they call it? The drugs and the cigarettes and the guns, whatever that organization is, get rid of those bastards too. Okay.
Our guest has arrived, so I'm going to bring him.
There we go. Let's get it back to the Twin Peaks talk. Keep going, Cameron. See, they know how to hook me. They start asking me questions about politics.
I thought.
What was that? No, you just went mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I hear you.
I thought I was on the wrong show for a second. I was like,
no. We did. Okay, so here's what happened. And if you want, go back and catch the first half of the show. Started out with a promo for our Tuesday show over on Deleted Scenes channel. And then we were just showing like an old couple showing our slides of our vacation. We were showing years of pictures from going to the Snoqualmie and North Bend Twin Peaks festivals.
Mm-hmm.
and talking about that, but they were in no particular order. And, one seemed to be at the Shalish Lodge, and then another one would be out in front of the Hurley's house, and then suddenly back at the Shalish Lodge from a different angle, looking down at the falls. It was just, we were all over the place. I'm going to have to put that in some kind of order. But, Cameron, thanks so much for coming to hang out with us. I know you had some family. Do we have you for at least a half hour or so?
Oh, yeah. You have me as long as you want. I wanted to let you know as soon as possible. So.
Oh, super appreciate it. Yeah. Netter's going to get a little extra watch hours this week because, we would have been wrapped up by now, but that's perfectly okay. We're having a lot of fun and we're so glad you could make it.
Okay. I usually start off with your channel. Your name is Obnoxious and Anonymous.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that? Plus, what made you want to start a channel?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, that channel and its name has gotten me into a lot of trouble.
Uh-oh.
No, what happened was that years and years ago, you remember there was that movie website, Ain't It Cool News, and there was and the Yahoo and stuff like that. And I remember talking with a friend and saying, like, these message boards, whether it be IMDb or Ain't It Cool News or Yahoo, were driving me crazy because these people could just say the worst, most obnoxious things, but because they were anonymous, right, and they didn't have to put their real name, they could just say whatever they wanted. It really drove me nuts. And I thought, wouldn't it be great? I remember just having this phone call and saying, wouldn't it be great to just have a YouTube channel called Obnoxious and Anonymous, but every single person on that page would use their real name and you would know how to contact them. And so it would be the complete opposite of what the name was. The problem is that people hear that and then naturally think you're a troll channel or something like that, which I never really computed until, a few years later when people are like, I don't know if I want to be on a channel called that. And it's like, no, it's not who we are. It's just, but then it kind of, at a certain point, you go, well, that's just the name of the YouTube channel. It used to be easier to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you have to have 1,500 subs and 4,000, 5,000 hours watched before you can monetize it. Before, if you started a YouTube channel, you could monetize day one with no subs. So it's a lot harder to start.
Over on Rumble. Just saying.
I'm just saying that, but it's a lot harder to start a channel now. So
it is.
I've flirted back and forth, like maybe change the name but at this point it is what it is. And,
well, one of the things that we bandy about, not just here, but on all the channels that, we associate with, there's a channel called Orville Nation. And the guy that runs that, PJ, started us saying, together we grow. The idea is do everything you can to help other channels, people in your community, because this isn't a zero-sum game. This isn't like the old network television where if you were NBC, you were competing directly with CBS for the same time slots. Here, it's, tune into me. When I'm done here, go check out this other channel. If we're on at the same time, pick one. Doesn't matter. Come back and watch, on the rerun or whatever. It's whatever. And, we build each other up.
Mm-hmm.
What wasn't monetization not even a thing in the early days of YouTube? Cat videos. I don't know.
No, there was no monetization. It kind of kicked in. I'm probably off, but it's around 2010 or so. But I mean, even then it was just like you could start up a channel that day and just click this button. Do you want to monetize the channel? Yes. And that was it.
No, exactly. And one of the things I was talking about before you came in that kind of set me on a goofy tangent was the fact that it kind of bugs me that I have hours and hours of content on here, thousands of watch hours, and I've made bupkis, absolute goose egg. But YouTube is continuing to make money off of it because they're still running ads. And that's not cool. There have been lawsuits in the comic book industry, over and in syndicated television, and the recent strikes by the Screen Actors Guilds about, people making money off of your efforts, in perpetuum. So I think something's got to change eventually. But that's why I do stream on multiple, platforms, and we'll see where it all leads us to. But
I mean, I used to do a lot of long form, let's say like movie discussions or Twin Peaks discussions, etc.
yes,
And they'd be 2-3 hours long, which I loved. But the thing is, though, is that those videos don't get a lot of repeat because one, they're from a few years ago, but two, if they just see 3 hours, they don't know what on earth you're diving into, talking about.
True.
So now, I mean, like for a while, you'll notice a lot of channels, what they'll do is they'll record like a 90-minute show or 2-hour show, and that will be available. But then they'll go in and cut that show up into like 6 or 7 videos. And so basically one video creates 10 videos of content on their channel.
Yes.
I'm kind of going the opposite because I just have no time to do that. So now I will just now I'm thinking about just doing shorter videos that are more, the people know what they're clicking on.
Sure.
Which, I mean, takes a while, but at the same time though, I do notice that more people will click on them. It's funny. One of the, since you're talking about YouTube here, when somebody starts a YouTube channel, there are 2 ways you can go. And really, there's only 2 ways you can go. You can either do what I call the Saturday Night Live route or the Monty Python route. And what I mean by that is Saturday Night Live is to the moment, topical, and that's it. So if there's movie news or some bit, I don't know if you do politics or whatever, if you just talk about the news, that is good for about 24 hours, and then really nobody's going to watch that video again. Whereas Monty Python is like, that humor is funny then and it's funny now.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It's either you can make a video that's going to get views just today and not next week, or you can do a video that will live forever on your channel because it doesn't matter when somebody watches it, it will be relevant.
Yeah. And some of my favorite channels, you'll see a video, you love it, and then it'll show up in your feed again. You'll be like, "Oh, I remember that one," and you hit play again. It's just, you're absolutely right. But I said this earlier in the stream, but now I'm going to say it with Cameron here, especially for anyone that's dropped in recently who didn't hear me earlier. So make sure you are subscribed to Obnoxious and Anonymous. Did I get it right?
Correct, Amundo.
Link below in the description. If you are following us on Tuesdays for live from Sparkwood and 21, you absolutely need to be checking out his channel. But if you are on your first watch through with us and you don't want any spoilers, maybe wait a little bit. Go ahead and subscribe now. But then after we get through season 3, then go start, devouring his content. And
because
talking to you, deleted scenes. Be careful.
Yeah, because I just free flow it and talk about everything and anything. And
yeah, there was one video that, and again, we are rewatching Twin Peaks on my channel. On Deleted Scenes channel on Tuesdays, and we were at the episode where Bob / Leland is he's killing Madeline,
right?
And that whole scene of Sarah climbing down the stairs, and I was like, oh, I just saw a video on Cameron's channel, and I was like, oh no, better not say anything because Deleted Scenes will want to go see it, and he hasn't seen.
You want to know? You want to know something I just found out about? This probably is old news for people, but there's that moment in that scene where Maddie sees Leela in the living room,
right?
And she screams,
right?
And she runs upstairs, and he runs upstairs. Okay, so I was always curious how the hell that scene got on ABC because of how violent and how intense that is. And I thought,
True.
well, it's 10:45 at night on Saturday when it first aired, and maybe they thought, well, it's close to 11 o'clock news. That probably had something to do with it. However, I just found out shortly ago that the script says that Maddie sees Leland and runs upstairs, and Leland chases after her. And then that is where the scene breaks in the script. So I don't know if ABC actually saw the episode before it aired.
Yeah.
So all that extra stuff of like Leland punching out Madeline's throat, her coughing up the blood, Bob slurping on her, that's not in the script.
Wow, that's interesting.
So I think they just got it past the censors by never even showing it to them.
That could be.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to say good night to Curtis Shelby. Hope to see you tomorrow night. And hello to Gorilla Random Thoughts. Thanks for being here. I did not know that. That is very interesting. But honestly, I do feel like the early 90s were a time when we were starting to get a little bit more relaxed with what they could show on TV. I'm actually kind of surprised looking back, seeing people smoking. You don't even see smoking that much on TV. And then you got Donna lighting up and,
Well, smoking now, if you go by the ratings board, smoking's supposed to get you an R, if not a PG-13 automatically.
Wow.
Which would make the David Lynch's film The Straight Story R-rated when it's G-rated when it came out, so.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So you did that little deep dive that I can't talk about because, like I said, I don't want to ruin it. So deleted scenes is a huge. I would call him a super fan, but he has not seen season 3 yet.
Mm-hmm.
So he is waiting until we get to that point, and he's going to be, all the rest of us on the panel have seen it, so we're trying not to ruin anything for. So I think it's going to be fun to kind of relive it through his eyes.
Sure. I mean, when season 3 aired, I mean, I really enjoyed it, really liked it. I will say this though, was it 7 years later? It has aged incredibly well.
Yeah,
and I think that season 3 is, even though nothing has changed since it first aired, I think it plays better now in 2024 than it did in 2017.
Yeah.
I think after you going through the pandemic and all that stuff, I think that, and also not waiting. I mean, I love watching TV week to week, but when you get to watch like 4 or 5 episodes in a row of that season 3, you start to feel the momentum of it, and you start to realize like, oh, this isn't as like stop-starty as it felt like in the moment back then. Like there is a flow to it, and it just plays so much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, season 3 just gets better and better with every watch, and what's really crazy is there are things about season 3 that I didn't like when it first aired. Now there's some of my most favorite things about season 3. Like I've done complete shifts on things I didn't like, now I love, and things I was kind of I kind of like that, maybe not so much now. Like I've flipped around so much.
I have I have said on the Tuesday night stream, I've said many times that this is one of, at the time that Twin Peaks first aired, I felt like a lot of people just really struggled with it because it's I compare it to in art, where you have realism and you have abstract, and I really feel like Twin Peaks is like bordering on the abstract. And what's great about that is you can look at it over and over and over again, and get something different from it. Mm-hmm. And as your perspective changes, as you experience one of the things I said was, when that show aired the first time through, I was the same age that the characters of Laura and Donna and James and Bobby were supposed to be.
Right.
So they were my peers. So the story is very different from the point of view of a 18-year-old.
Right.
Especially when you think about like the relationship between Bobby and what's her name, the waitress, Shelly, exactly, who's probably a couple of years older, right? She's married then to Leo, who's probably a little older than her. There's a lot of creep factor there.
Well, what's really interesting too is, I think this is why I've always compared like Twin Peaks, because it came out right around when I was that young age too. And to me, I always felt like Twin Peaks was like my Star Wars, right? I like, don't get me wrong, I was a little kid when Star Wars was on. I saw it, loved it.
Yep.
But I wasn't 14 when Star Wars came out, right? I was like 3. And I saw Empire in the theater, but I was like 5, right?
Yeah.
So like I liked it, but it didn't resonate with me because I'm 5, 6 years old, right?
Sure.
But Twin Peaks hit me, and Blue Velvet hit me, all stuff. But what they talk about the original Star Wars series is that because George Lucas tapped into mythology, right? That's what really kind of made it resonate for a lot of people. And like Yoda stuff, even though it's age-old philosophy, it's the first time a lot of people heard that stuff, so it really resonated with them. I think the reason why David Lynch hit so hard for us at that particular age, at that particular time, is that when you look at his period from 86 to 92, so you have Blue Velvet. I'm not counting his short films, but like, let's say Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, Wild at Heart, Fire Walk with Me, right? Those films, as mysterious and they're dealing with the FBI or murder investigations and drugs and sex and all that stuff, they're also coming of age films.
Yeah.
Right. So Jeffrey,
especially Blue Velvet. Yeah.
Jeffrey and Sandy, they're coming of age. I would say Twin Peaks definitely, because even though you're dealing with older people, but you're also dealing with the young folks. Cooper's kind of in the middle, but he's got a whole coming of age arc too, right?
He does.
And then obviously Wild at Heart, Sailor and Lula coming into discovering the world. It's not as great as they wanted it to be. Of course, Fire Walk with Me. So it's like, it's I because we're that age and we're getting hit with these like sort of David Lynch does John Hughes in a way. Exactly. And because it's dealing with realism and surrealism and mystery and abstract, it's like it hit us at a time when our minds were wide open.
I have also pointed out to people that, and I love it when I see people in the chat that have never seen it before. They're watching for the first time. Oh, this is like Lost, or this is like X-Files, or this is like, and I'm like, funny you say that, because every single one of those things that you're saying it's like were inspired by Twin Peaks, and the creators of those shows have said so.
It's interesting because there's like, I love all of David Lynch's work. However, 86 to 92 is where it speaks for me. Yeah. Where there's some people who were older than me, where Dune speaks to them, or Eraserhead, right? And I love those films too. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't at the age to where it hit me. I had to go back and watch those, right? Just like if you meet people who love Lost Highway, well, those are people a few years younger than us, but that's because they saw Lost Highway when they were 16 and not when they were 20.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So it's like David Lynch hits people when at different ages when it came out,
And like I said, you can still enjoy it later because it hits you differently,
right?
And you can see it's a rewatchability. I'm honestly right now in the middle of season 2, and so many things are resonating differently for me now that I've seen season 3. Right. And looking back, one of the things I've pointed out to people, just watch the characters you like or don't like or whatever, they have arcs, and honestly, I thought it was going to be a spoiler if I said too much about Bobby, but then I remembered as we got to that scene, he's got that talk with his father in the Double R Diner where I had this dream about you, and you were older and this and that, and I was like,
and wow. And Major Briggs, before season 2, is just the strict military dad. Right. He doesn't become Major Briggs until season 2.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And you see that well, and I know also too from you know, all the behind the scenes and so forth, talking with Charlotte, especially, you know, about how she, you know, how they like had talked about, you know, their inspiration, what they thought of being parents to Bobby and what their vision for Bobby was. And they would talk to David about it. And David's like, okay, you know, I'm with you on that. And I see that in what comes across on screen. And so when you get to season 3 and you see the arc that Bobby's taken, you go, okay, that's a surprise, but not a big one. That I can totally see how we get from there to here. You know?
Am I allowed to talk season 2 stuff, or is that off?
Season 2, sure. We're more than halfway through season 2.
I was just gonna mention there is, plug your ears if you don't want to know.
Yeah, right.
But there's a moment where Major Briggs comes back and he's in a, let's say, outfit from not that particular time.
Right.
He's in a World War I outfit. Sorry, spoilers. Yep. That is our first indication.
Is that where when he shows up in his front room? Yeah. We just watched that episode.
Okay, so that is the first indication that Twin Peaks is going to go into time travel.
Yep.
And it's all because of where Major Briggs went, which you will find out later. I mean, he talks about it, but season 3 really kind of brings it home. And so it's there's like, there was something like, you know, I posted today online of so Laura's homecoming picture is at the school, and then there's a different version of it at the house.
Right.
But then in Fire Walk with Me, it starts flipping into like the one at house is the one at school, and the one at school is at the house. And and some people go, oh, that's just a continuity error. But there's so many things flipped as we go on.
Yep.
That it's the, plug your ears, seriously. The idea though is that I feel like they had it in their heads. They maybe not know what exactly, but I think they had in their heads that timelines were going to start shifting, because you start seeing the shifts early, and it's not just you do not go that far afield if it's a continuity error.
There are so many things that I noticed the first time through, but didn't think much of, and then I'd see it again and again, and I'd be like, eventually, it'd be like, oh, that's probably not a mistake. That was an intentional set. You get a lot of that after you see Fire Walk with Me. Now, we did a watch of Fire Walk with Me with the missing pieces some time ago. We will rewatch the original theatrical release after we finish season 2. But you start getting a whole lot of payoff just from Fire Walk with Me. I remember a lot of, I hate saying it this way, but a lot of normies, people that weren't real into Twin Peaks, that went and saw that movie, were they felt confused. There were even some fans that were like, well, this doesn't answer any of my questions. This is a prequel. We knew all of this. And I'm like, you're really not watching it then. You're missing.
Well, that's, you know what, though, I'll be honest with you. That's how it felt in 92. Even if you really liked it, it just felt like, but we knew all this. I mean, I think if they had been able to incorporate some of the missing pieces into it, let's say the Annie Blackburn thing at the hospital, if that had been sort of like a Marvel post-credit sequence, people's minds would have blown, because then it would have shown that the ring is continuing, blah blah blah. I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Have you watched my film? Have you watched Queen of Hearts yet?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I will. I absolutely will.
Is it a watch party?
I don't know. You don't have to do a watch party, but just like, if you, I mean, you can watch it anytime, but I wouldn't show it to deleted scenes until after season 3. But
obviously I've already seen season 3, so I could just go watch it tonight.
Yeah, because it does incorporate all the seasons into it. No, did you even know about it?
I know. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Okay, all right.
I feel like I hate to say it this way, but I feel like I just met you, virtually speaking,
so
when you came to the deleted scenes channel that one night.
All right, so I am going to talk for a minute about my film, but
please.
I don't if people like deleted scenes are in there, I'm gonna get into stuff with season 2, and I don't want that.
No, you know what? I don't feel like I said, we're halfway through season 2.
Okay.
I think we see the trajectory that season 2 is going.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get into Caroline and Annie for a second. So that which you're not.
Yeah. Annie hasn't been introduced yet, but I don't see. Just don't spoil season 3. I think is.
I won't. So anyway, so season 3 airs, and we're getting 500 to 1,000 people watching live every. We're doing numerous shows. It's huge, and this guy makes this little like 5-minute fan film about Leland Palmer, and and someone sent it to me, and I hadn't seen it, and I didn't know too much about fan films or that kind of thing. So,
is it like a prequel type story?
Yeah, it's like a mood piece type of thing.
Okay,
it's called The Summer House at Pearl Eggs, and there's a bunch of them.
Sense.
There's a bunch of them, but there's the first one is what it was like a 5-minute short, and it won at like a couple of the festivals and stuff like that. So I saw it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And it's like, oh, you know what? Technology is cheaper, and you can get away with this stuff. So I kind of floated this idea saying, hey, you know, when I was younger, this is back when Fire Walk With Me had come out, I actually had an idea of a film that took place in the Twin Peaks universe that I always said to myself, now this was never going to happen, but you know, you kind of have sometimes dreams of things. I thought if I ever got into a room with David Lynch and Mark Frost, and they were like saying, hey, what kind of, you know, pitch us some stories, this is what I would have pitched to them.
Okay.
And obviously it never happened, but I thought to myself going, if I was to make a story set in the Twin Peaks universe, this is what I would want to make. And so I kind of just said, this is what I would love to do. And people were said, well, do a crowdfunding.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like I'll try it. And we hit our goal. I couldn't believe it. So we raised $20,000. And it is a 4-hour film. It is huge.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we shot it in California and Snoqualmie, and we kind of mixed the season 2 vibe with the real locations and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So the story it tells 2 parallel stories, kind of like Godfather 2 in a way.
Nice.
So first story is Annie Blackburn post season 2 out of where she came from.
Wow.
And it follows her story while she's being mentored by Major Briggs on how to get a message to a particular person in Fire Walk With Me.
That makes sense. Okay. Right? Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Then the second story is following Cooper becoming partners with Wyndham Earle and falling in love with Caroline.
Right.
And it tells Annie's story and Cooper and Caroline's story back and forth until Cooper is in a particular place with red drapes, and Annie and Caroline are together in the same place wearing the same dress. And yeah, you can only you can only imagine where it goes from there. And that's only 2/3 of the way through the story. If you are a Twin Peaks nerd and you are a hardcore deep diver, this thing was made for you.
Is it is it still available?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Oh, we could just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I did split it up into like acts if people wanted to watch it, you know, in smaller episodes, but the full version is the most up-to-date edit with everything all put together as it was meant to be. One thing.
Okay. Cameron, do you ever have availability on Tuesday nights when we're doing, you know, deleted scenes show?
Probably. Keep in mind, I'm 2 hours behind you, and then
right.
I have a 5-year-old, so it's sometimes a little difficult.
Here's what I'm proposing. After we get through,
okay. We mostly act like 5-year-olds.
After we get through season 2, we're gonna get into some other things. We're gonna get into the, you know, audio tape and the authorized biography stuff like that. I'm gonna do a much better slideshow of my time at the fests and whatnot, and that kind of thing. We want to do Fire Walk With Me, but then I think, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, deleted scenes. I'm sure you'd be cool with this. Maybe we set up a couple weeks in a row to watch your show on.
But it goes into season 3. Just so you know, there are season 3
Oh,
elements.
so maybe you should wait until after season 3 then.
I'm saying if you wanted to watch it by your, you would.
Oh yeah, I could,
but
like
I'm saying
deleted scenes, we'd have to wait. Okay, so in the future, when we get to that point, if you'd be interested, and then here's what I would do, since it's something that's on YouTube, I would do it as a watch party and say, okay, everybody, I want you to go to this video.
Yeah.
We're going to start at the same time, because then you get all that watch hours and, so on and so forth. So,
oh yeah. But, here, let me just show you. Let me show you the highlight of something that like, listen, if you're as big as a fan as us, this is, where is it here? Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, this is what. Here's Kyle holding the poster of the film.
Oh wow, how cool!
You can't really. Where's the poster? Focus.
There. Oh my gosh, exactly the way you described. Yeah.
Oh, that's
that
cool.
dress. That dress.
Yeah, and there's Annie with her. Caroline with her abdomen wound, and Annie with the look she's going to have in.
There we go.
Yep.
Let me see. Anyway, let's see. There we go. Anyway, I met Kyle up in Washington, and he was asking me all these questions about the film, and I told him I was thinking about making a continuation. And he's like, well, let's take a picture with the poster and get some attention for you. And I was like, let's do it.
Absolutely, man. That is awesome. So yeah, speaking of oh well, hello.
I try to get back.
No, that's fine. Speaking of you do you live in Washington?
No, I'm in California.
You're in California, okay, but same time zone, but yeah. You're a lot closer than I am. We're in the Chicago area.
Oh,
we were talking before you came, and we said that we went for the fest a couple of years, and that's a pretty penny between the cost of the fest and flight out, staying.
I drove up there for the last thing. So
we live too far to make that drive and be back in time for work. But 6, welcome, good to see you.
But yeah, so, but if you are, I mean, like, if you think my YouTube channel is for like the hardcore deep divers, then like this film is not. I mean, yeah, anybody can watch it, but if you are serious, like I love Twin Peaks more than anything.
Oh, absolutely.
Then this film is made for you, because it's entirely. There's so many, and it's not like wink, like funny. I mean, it is approached. Yes, listen. It doesn't look like a multi-million-dollar movie. It's made for $20,000.
It's a fan film, sure.
But the acting is really good, and the script and the way we made it was like we just had it in our minds. Like if Showtime or CBS had asked us to do a spin-off continuation thing, we approached it with that sincerity. So like, there's people who are crying watching this thing. There's people who are, because it's so.
Yeah. I would imagine
if you love Twin Peaks, it's going to hit you right in the feels.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And I mean, it goes into the diaries. It goes into, I mean, like, so, yeah. So, I mean,
absolutely.
It's designed for real.
This is exactly why we're doing this Tuesday thing. Cause we're trying to bring a whole new batch of fans into something that it would be intimidating, I think, for some people to jump into, without, a guide maybe.
Sure.
But I should have known too, because I saw that interview you did with Josh, and I was like, oh, he must live like in the LA area. I
probably would do more with Josh if I did, but no. But yeah, anyway, but so the idea, the film was supposed to be a one and done. I mean, it took me 3 years to make it. Yeah. And then with the pandemic, it took me forever. And so I was not going to do it. And then I was talking with Josh, and Josh goes, yeah, but I want to know what happens next.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, but emotionally it's over, you know. I mean, I just kind of, and he's like, yeah, but
That
what happens next?
I suspect that's probably where David and Mark are now too. I mean, it's like, you know, everyone wants a season 4, and they're probably like, well, you know, you decide what happens next, you know?
Right. So anyway, but if I get to make this, then the continuation would go past season 3.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which
I would
which
imagine so, yeah.
which is complete uncharted territory.
Absolutely. Did you back when Netter and I were going to the fest, I'd have to say it was like uh I think 2012 was probably the last year we were there.
Mm.
And we were there for I think the first one was like 2006, 2007 that we went to, something like that in there. There was a group that got together online and were writing a season 3 themselves.
Oh, really?
Did you ever see that?
No.
I've got a copy of it around here. It wasn't bad. They even filmed it and they showed it at the fest. It was I think it's a better read, to be honest with you. Nothing against them. They, you know, great effort. I loved it.
Well, there's a moment about maybe about 2 minutes into Queen of Hearts where it literally begins like where season 2 ends, and the credits roll and people are like, oh my god, I'm back.
Yeah.
Because if you're old enough and watch the show when it was originally on, you remember what it felt like to be, you know, that age.
Yep.
And so when the credits hit and they're loading Annie into the ambulance and they're going away from Glastonbury Grove,
Right.
and I have the credits going, and it's like, oh my god. But instead of following Cooper to the, you know, this way, we're following Annie that way. So
wow.
So we're kind of
that's awesome.
So it's right where season 2 leaves. So if you started it right after season 2, it's like it's right there. The problem is that I used all the seasons to inform the material. But there's a moment where Annie is in the hospital and she's talking with Major Briggs, and I've had so many people say to me going, if there was a season 3 in 1991, this is a scene that would have been in it, because
yes, I can picture that. Yes.
And when you see the scene, you see the actors, you go, oh my god, like the guy seems like Don Davis and she seems a lot like Heather Graham, and it's like, oh my god, like all of a sudden you're 15 years old again, watching season 3 in 1991.
Yeah.
And it does kind of mess with your mind, because you're kind of like, oh my god, like you know. And that's so many people, I mean, not trying to each their own, but like I've had so many people say to me going, when I do my rewatches, this is canon to me, because it doesn't negate anything that anyone said. It just it's a giant missing piece.
Yes, exactly. One of the things I've said as we're doing our watch throughs, every time you get to a scene where somebody talks about the past, you know, especially when you're talking about Hank and Norma and Ed and Nadine, their time in high school and all that kind of stuff, we were talking on the panel saying, you know, they could almost do a prequel series about them. Now, unless it was, you know, Mark and David or people very close to them that were willing to put in that kind of thought and effort to it, I would have no faith that they would even, you know, we're better off just knowing the implied story and just being okay with it. But yeah, there's enough of a skeleton of story there that they could totally do a whole like spin-off prequel series.
Yeah, there's so many little nooks and crannies. Like, imagine the whole like Josie escaping Eckhart storyline you could tell.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much in there that you could get into. And I
don't think it's a spoiler to tell people that there is, although there's a lot of payoff from season 2 in season 3, there are some things that don't get resolved.
Well,
you got to expect that. Yeah, you got to expect that. So,
but I think this is what a lot of times this idea of fan films gets pigeonholed because of, you know, Star Trek or Star Wars and everything.
Right.
But I think if you have person who knows what they know the material, and they know there is so much room. Like even there's so many stories in the Secret History that Mark Frost wrote you could adapt.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
And this is the kind of stuff that as a fan, if I trust them in good hands, I'll eat all this up.
Yeah.
Like,
actually, you brought up the Secret History. That would be, I mean, if they were going to do that now, I would want to see they shoot a scene that goes out of focus and then changes real time. If there's a change to be made, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That, like that time travel thing you were talking about before. It's like if there's a paralleling thing going on.
Well, there's stuff going on because Briggs is the author, right?
True.
Right?
True.
And he specifically writes Annie out of the timeline.
Right.
And there's a reason for that, is because if she's going to get a message to a particular person, the doppelganger can't know about her. And so if Major Briggs's place is going to get discovered, there can be no evidence of her.
That is, we've completely unrelated to this. I did a long series of watch parties of time travel movies where I talk through some are good, some are bad, why they're good, what makes them good. It's always internal integrity, right? And every time you get something like that in Twin Peaks, it is spot on. It is like either they had planned it or they planted a seed that they didn't know what they were going to do with it, but we'll come back to it. And they're like, oh, well, this is what we'll do. And that seed just germinates, if you were Major Briggs, right, you would know not to do certain things. This would be bad.
Like, let me give you a quick example, and I'll try to talk around it.
Sure.
So there's a moment in season 3 where a particular message is discovered in a particular room, and this gets discovered by the police, and they look over it, right?
Yep.
And Hawk, not knowing, can't remember, 30 years ago, whatever, says, oh, he believes it's this particular character who put this in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
He talks about it being Mr. Palmer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you go by all the evidence, you go by what season 2 sets up, what season 3 gets into, what the books get into, there's only one person who put that in there, is the person that has been covering for Annie, and that is Briggs. And Briggs is somebody who can literally, go through, like Annie, time and space. They've both gone through a particular place that and they've come out unscathed. So therefore, they've learned how to manipulate, how to move through stuff, which is something Cooper will do later. But like, there is a
less successfully, I might add. He's got a learning curve.
Yes, but okay, yeah, but you can see it because okay. Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, no, we probably we're getting way too close.
Yeah. But I'm just what I'm saying is, I think that you ever seen the movie Groundhog Day, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Bill Murray goes through so many trips around, and finally has this like perfect day. Right. I think that what we're seeing in season 3 is not the first go around the sun. I think this is like, I'm just throwing out a number. This is the 25th or 30th attempt already to make it through.
I hadn't thought about that.
Because the character is so blessed as they goes on his journey with the Mitchums and all that stuff, that like he would know, I better bring the pie. I better do this. And so we're getting closer to the perfect day.
Yeah.
The part with the box.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well, that's my feeling at this point, is that's showing us how many attempts he's already made, because this is.
Oh, I never would have even thought of that.
Because if it is one continuous story, then there's no reason why they would show twice right in a row a particular character disappearing from
That's
the
brilliant.
hand, right? So therefore it is the next step. Anyway, after you get through season 3, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Because there's a lot that I want to say that would totally right. and the problem is deleted scenes is so perceptive. I think he's already guessed a lot of things that happen in season 3 without even any spoilers.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. It's not given to you the way you think it's going to be given.
Right. No, you're absolutely right about that. The other thing that I've thought many times is that, well, and I feel like this kind of comes from David directly. Anytime anyone asks him, he's like, "Well, what do you think?" You know, I think he very much intends it to be this kind of a thing. He wants us to play with it and enjoy it and have our own idea about, you know.
But he's not stupid either. I mean, he knows.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know,
when you see something and you suddenly go, "Holy cow!" It's like, you know. But I also don't want to take anything away from Mark Frost, because I've seen his other work too, and I see his hand in all of that too.
But if you read the book Lynch on Lynch and you don't just watch his interviews, because when he does interviews, when David does interviews, whatever, he knows how to be David Lynch. I mean, he is David Lynch, but he knows how to be David Lynch.
Right.
He answers in that. Well, I don't know. As you get a wind and this, that. Yeah. But if you read Lynch on Lynch, he actually answers questions. Yeah. And they talk about a particular scene in Firewalk with Me with Annie, and he goes into this long diatribe about, well, what would happen if Lee Harvey Oswald's name popped up in 1920? It's like. So he knows exactly what he's doing, and what he's not this golly gee. I'm David Lynch. Like, he's smart.
This is something that I'm kind of trying to impart on everybody, is that yes, you can just watch Twin Peaks and enjoy it, and you don't have to check out anything else. It's nice to check out the diary and the autobiography and all of that other stuff. That's good too. But if you really want to dig into it, maybe you need to see Mulholland Drive, and you need to see Lost Highway, and you have to read interviews. And there's a lot of other information out there that kind of bears on this, that gives you some context.
There's a moment in season 2 at the beginning where Cooper says, "Is that Baggs smiling when he's in the hospital?" Right? Well, but back in 1990, there was a couple little biographies about David Lynch that had come out, little small ones, not the big ones, not Room to Dream, where he would talk about when he was living in Pittsburgh, he would walk by the morgue every day, and they'd be hosing down the body bags, but they would have him in a smiling thing. Yeah. And I remember reading that, and then when I saw season 2, I was like, oh my God, like, this is his life.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. These things are things he's taken from his own personal recollection. Dead Man Walking 55, welcome. So glad you're here. But yeah, what was I? Oh, so you have interviews with, like I said, Josh. You've interviewed Jennifer, who, of course,
that was my first interview. I had met her at a convention, and she was on my Facebook, and I was like thinking, God, who I would want to interview, and I was like, oh, maybe Jennifer Lynch. But this is like 2012, and I just reached out to her. I was like, hey, can I interview you? She's like, sure. And it's the longest interview she's ever given. I mean, it's over 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I just kind of, I don't know, I just wanted to talk to her about her story. Like David Lynch made Eraserhead and then went off and did Elephant Man. But what was it like to be an artist in her own right?
Yeah.
Living with her mom while her dad was remarried and making all these other movies. What was it like to be the child?
Yeah.
Behind.
Right.
Which is not something I think a lot of people have ever discussed with her.
Right.
I was just kind of fascinated by that. But Catherine Coulson, I talked to her. She's on.
I was, and this is not a spoiler because this is real world stuff. Seeing her briefly in season 3 and that episode being dedicated to her.
Oh yeah.
Netter will tell you, I was in tears. The end of that episode, I was a wreck. But honestly, almost every episode does that, because then Walter, shows up, and then they dedicate that episode to him, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, and then Miguel Ferrer, and it's just like, it's like everyone's dead in this season.
And that's true, and that's what makes going back and watching the show difficult now, because it's like, oh, rest in peace. Oh, rest in peace. It's like half the cast is gone.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, God, if they had made this 5 years earlier, they would have had even more people.
I suspect there had to be that element of, we've got to get this film, we got to get it filmed now. And I do feel like some people's scenes got pushed. We got to get you on camera right now while we can.
I thought that when I heard that Lynch had filmed Catherine Coulson separately, like by herself, right?
Yeah.
I was like going, oh my God, I know what they're going to do. And of course I was totally wrong, like a lot of things, but like, I thought that what he was doing was filming Log Lady intros for all this.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Because he had remastered in HD the Log Lady intros that they did for Bravo for the Blu-ray. Right. So I thought maybe Log Lady was going to be at the front of every episode.
Gotcha.
Obviously, that's not true.
And to be honest with you,
it would have been amazing, though. It would have been amazing.
Honestly, I thought of that as I watched it, because I was like, it's got that kind of a feel to it because she's separate, but. And I thought there must have been a thought of a tip of the hat nod to those, but yeah, they had to do it because of the circumstance, and it was heartbreaking, And I was just so I had met her too, and it was like someone I didn't know her, I met her, but I felt like I knew her the time that we spent together, that one afternoon, and then to see her, like, I'm like, oh my gosh. And she, like, in a way worked right up to her last day. And I'm like, that's more than admirable. That's amazing. Someone who literally did what she wanted, what she loved doing, literally to the end. It's like,
yeah, it's almost
I should be so.
Well, it's like, like Stanley Kubrick works his tail off on Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
Finish, I know there's controversy about this, but he finishes his initial cut of it.
Yeah.
It looks good. Dies.
Yeah.
Because it's what happens is, like, the tension is gone because your body changes because you've completed it. Right. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, your body goes, you can die now.
Yeah. You can let go. It's how I've heard a lot of people say it. You hold on.
So it's like, Catherine finished up her part.
Yeah.
Okay. The tension's gone. I made it. Yeah. It's that change in your body that just a lot,
No, I absolutely agree. Yeah. So I think we've kept you long enough. I think we should probably start wrapping this up.
Well, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
I am hoping, like I said, to maybe get you back. And you said if it's 4 hours, maybe we could do it as a 4 weeks, breaking it up, or
I would recommend doing what's called the full version, just because it's the most up to date. I've made little tweaks because sometimes YouTube's got the compression part, so I would go back in and brighten up a shot here so it didn't look so bad on YouTube.
Sure. But, so I'll reach out to you, offline. We can talk about the logistics. It's gonna be a while because we got to get through season 2, the extraneous, and then season 3.
But you know what? So we're gonna be doing the crowdfunding thing. Hopefully in another month or so, we're gonna start it.
So you are going ahead with another project?
So
we're gonna try. I haven't.
When are you planning the?
So I guess I can. I mean, we made it kind of official. So let me if you're gonna go, let me just say for everybody, watch for that. We'll keep you informed.
Yeah,
but once we're off air, I want to tell you something real quick about
it. Okay, yeah.
I just can't announce it off.
We'll talk about it in the green room. But what I was going to say publicly is, I want to do anything I can to help you promote that. Certainly, I think everyone who's following us on Tuesdays is going to be interested in that. So,
here's my thought. My next opening for guests is May 16th. By then, you should have some things in place. Why don't you come back?
We'll talk details in the green room, but we want we want to help you in any way that we can.
Oh, you're gonna love what I'm about to tell you.
Okay, good. So I don't feel bad then that we're gonna kind of close this off, and we will.
In fact, I'll be thrilled when we're able to talk about things not in a roundabout way.
Okay, so I take that as I'm volunteering to come back and talk some more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold you to that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Is there anything, however, before we break that you think, man, I really need to say this now, or something you were expecting to be able to say?
Okay, if you're on Facebook, follow Twin Peaks Worldwide, which is the Facebook page that I run.
Okay.
And we are, again, we're deep divers, so we'll talk about. We won't just post the random picture that everybody posts. Like, we'll go into things that, like, so be aware of that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Annie Blackburn YouTube channel, which has Queen of Hearts on it, and follow us on social media. Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff.
Okay, so his channel is below. I didn't know about the Annie Blackburn one. I will get that one.
It's okay.
We'll send it out on our community tabs, and we'll definitely talk about it again on Tuesday. Let everyone know about it, especially if they weren't here for tonight. So thank you very much, Cameron. And we've already gone through the week in review, Netter. So it's all yours. Take it away.
I would ask you if you had any final words, but you kind of like took over. So.
I did. I'm sorry. I do that on Tuesdays too. I just get so Twin Peaks-ish,
The thumb drive I gave you?
Yep.
That's all the Salish Lodge, or not Salish Lodge, the
Kiana Lodge.
Yeah, Kiana Lodge.
Okay. I'll integrate that into my pictures then.
Yep. And there's some really good pictures in there of the Twin Peaks yearbook, and of course, trying my pictures there.
Yeah, did you see, Cameron? Some bloke at the fests. He I think he's the one that put out the Blue Rose magazine.
Oh yeah.
He had done, for everyone that was interested, a Twin Peaks yearbook. It was like the year that Laura died. And so there's pictures of, Bobby and all that, but then send him your high school picture and he puts you into it.
Oh, cool.
So Netter and I, who didn't go to high school together, got the opportunity to be in, the high school yearbook together.
That's fun.
Anyway, so yeah, go ahead, Netter.
So, y'all know how I always end my streams.
Yep.
Make sure that you are sub to every member of the panel, as well as every member of the chat. And if you think you're sub, please go back and double check because, YouTube.
Yep.
And with that said, we can talk amongst ourselves and that's all well, good and fun. But it is so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat and you're dropping your comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room, enjoying each other's company and having a great time. And stop hogging the popcorn, Troy.
I'm sorry.
And you guys, you're not just our friends. You are our family. We love you guys, and we appreciate you so very much. You could be anywhere right now, and you chose to be here with us. That is so encouraging.
Yep.
So thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for encouraging not just the panel, but everyone in the chat by, you're saying hello to each other and just conversing amongst one another. So thank you for that. I just love seeing that every week.
Yep.
I hope you have a great, we have a weekend coming up, so I hope you have a great weekend and that your Friday is amazing in Osmo. And those of you who were on my Thursday stream know what Osmo means.
Yep.
And we will definitely see you next time. God bless.
Take care.